Hello, and welcome to the John Ark Show. This episode is called Buying Real Estate is Now Financial Suicide. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and follow us. Also, remember to click on the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a new episode. I'd like to tell you about a service called Hollywood is Calling. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities. So check them out. It's something you can buy for yourself or as a gift for someone you love. Now, let's get started. The real estate market is an absolute free fall and headed towards the equivalent of financial suicide. Today, we're going to analyze and reveal what we know and what we're hearing about the commercial and residential real estate market, and very little of it is good news. Let's start with the commercial real estate sector. Right now, it's easier to sell suicide pills or black and white TVs than it is to sell or rent commercial real estate. If you think that's an exaggeration, then just keep listening because we're going to discuss some real estate horror stories that will give you a sense for what's really going on out there in the marketplace and how bad it is. Landlords attempting to rent or sell office space are finding out that doing so is almost impossible. With each passing week, more companies are announcing policies that will allow their employees to work out of their homes instead of having to schlep back to the office. Our corporate culture has been permanently changed by recent events, and executives are finding out that one of the best ways to get fired is to recommend that employees be forced to come back to work in their expensive offices or recommending that overpriced office leases be renewed. There are now so many empty offices everywhere that it's really disturbing. You can confirm this by driving around town and looking at all the empty parking lots for a lot of these office towers, or you can drive around in the evening when it starts getting dark and take note of how many offices remain darkened. They're darkened because they're empty, not because the employees have gone home. How do we know that? We know that because the parking lots are empty during the day. Isn't reducing company overhead by letting employees stay at home a good thing? On some levels, it's great because employees are more productive when they don't have to spend 4 hours a day sitting in traffic to and from work. But remember, real estate comprises 70% of the GDP. And if you slash those costs, then that reduced expenditure will mean less money flowing through the economy. What about retail space? Well, retail sales comprise 70% of the GDP. And when you start closing thousands of stores, shopping malls, and retail outlets, then you're dramatically impacting the economy. Now, everybody will tell you that online sales are great, but e-commerce only comprises 16% of retail sales, which means there will still be a tremendous reduction in overall sales caused by the closing of so many brick and mortar stores. In New York now, it is so difficult to rent or sell a vacant retail store space that the only way some landlords can hope to make money is to lie about the square footage of their stores. Prospective tenants looking at some stores, some empty store spaces, claiming to be 3,000 square feet, now routinely bring along and use laser scanners to measure the actual square footage inside the store, and they're finding out it's often far less than it's advertised as. The next problem is that for most cities, the largest source of tax revenue flows from property taxes and their ability to collect those taxes from closed office buildings, closed retail stores, and boarded up malls. That ability to extract those property taxes has now come to an end. These places are shut down. If you go to YouTube and type in the name of a city and then type in boarded up stores, you will see endless videos of people driving up and down the streets, filming countless boarded up stores in their area. Now, these aren't just mom and pop stores that had to go out of business because they lacked the savings to ride things out. Most of these locations are large, nationally known stores, and many have filed for bankruptcy. Now, let's switch over to the residential real estate sector, which is where an even bigger horror movie is beginning to unfold. Right now, we have a moratorium on evictions, which is in place until the end of the year, and many expect it to be extended again after that. Now, there are many Americans now living in homes and apartments that they can no longer pay the rent on because they've lost their jobs because of recent events. Most of these people have depleted their savings over the last few months, and they don't even have the money to move if they wanted to move. So their landlords can't collect the rent from them. So in many cases, that means the landlords can't pay their own mortgages on that same property. Tenants don't pay, landlords can't pay. Now remember, these rent payments and these mortgage payments are not being forgiven or forgotten. They're just being delayed until after the moratorium is lifted. But here's the problem with that. There are some politicians out there now saying that the recent spike in the healthcare issues out there will cause them to once again extend their freeze on the economy. If they continue to freeze the economy, then that's a huge problem because many experts now believe we are approaching the point of no return economically. That means that we are crossing a threshold and there will be no coming back unless immediate action is taken and the economy is fully reactivated. So, how does this affect residential real estate? When there is economic uncertainty, then people are reluctant to purchase homes, remodel homes, flip homes, or get involved in anything involving real estate. Because of this, real estate demand is tumbling in many cities. A lot of real estate experts, the so called experts, and the news sites will try and tell you that inventory is declining dramatically, but that's really deceptive. The number of properties being sold isn't declining because things are improving. It's declining because homeowners don't want to keep listing their homes if no one is coming to see them. You can just check out the average days on market data for homes listed, and you will see that this number is getting longer and longer. Last time I checked, the average days on market for high-end real estate in Manhattan was over 400 days. Think about that. Also, once a homeowner is underwater, they will take their home off the market because they can't afford to lose money on that sale. Another big problem is that many of these sellers mistakenly believe that the situation will improve in a few months and that their home prices will begin to go back up. Unfortunately, with more than 30 million Americans still out of work, that's going to be difficult. We do predict a dramatic spike in one sector of the real estate market, and that is in the demand for trailer park homes. We believe that anyone selling their trailer park is going to receive a record high offer for them, and these offers will continue to rise over time. Why is that? Because millions of Americans are about to be evicted, and many of them will no longer be able to afford a home or an apartment. Their money's gone, and their credit scores have been destroyed. These people, a lot of them, no longer have any relatives left who can loan them money. So these people will begin trying to rent a trailer home in a trailer park, and this will drive those rents up even more. As an investment, we predict that the values of trailer parks will skyrocket over the next 5 years. In addition to that, we believe that they will become extraordinary sources of cash flow that will exceed the cash flow on many other investment classes. Now, there is another major advantage to owning a trailer park that you no longer find in a lot of other asset classes, and that is liquidity. The demand for trailer parks is so intense now that owners are routinely receiving unsolicited offers for them, and those offers are increasing in price every 6 months. Now, as the giant hedge funds become more aware of this, get ready to watch them start pumping billions of dollars into the acquisition of trailer parks. The more they do that, the more those prices will be driven up, and the more the individual rental units prices will be driven up. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we keep hearing from insiders that real estate market prices will crash by 75 to 80%. If that's true, then we believe that when those prices hit rock bottom, you're going to see a massive gold rush of professional and individual real estate investors rushing back into the market with such speed and ferocity that most of that 80% reduction will be recouped within a couple of years of people rushing back into that market. The people who have enough money set aside to buy residential real estate at the bottom will make more money than anyone ever dreamed possible as they ride the prices back up to the top. With that, I want to thank you for watching and tell you that we are going to have more great celebrity interviews and more breaking news stories coming up in the future. So we want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a story.